Where are we going, Mike?
We are going to the Jaffa Gate to get an ancient tattoo.
Ancient. This is a one of a kind.
And what Ruslan, this is the oldest tattoo shop in Jerusalem?
In Jerusalem, yeah. It's 800 years old.
Wow.
It is 800 years old.
Sitting in Razuk Tattoo Shop. This is the oldest tattoo shop in the world, in the heart of Jerusalem. And gonna get a couple little pieces added, very small pieces, but gonna get those added to my already filled to the brim arm. So we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Now these stamps right here are the stencils that are used for the tattoos, and they're over 800 years old. Now, I didn't go to Israel with the intention of getting a tattoo, but I couldn't pass up this opportunity. We spent our last morning in Jerusalem before heading out to Tel Aviv by going to the Garden Tomb. This is believed by many Christians to be the site of the borrowed tomb of Jesus because it closely fits the description of the tomb in the Gospel of John. We had an amazing guide with an even more amazing testimony. After her husband passed, she left Canada and came here to spend a season leading a tour and explaining more about Jesus. Between this and the other site that they believe Jesus was buried at, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, this felt more real to me. Again, this is only speculation. It's not 100% accurate, but this is where they believed that Jesus was buried. That was by far the most spiritual experience that I had while on this trip. Afterwards, we all tucked away into a little room and spent an hour praying and worshiping together. It was a beautiful experience. But when we were done, we headed over to the Gaza Strip. I often hear about Gaza in the news and soon realized that I didn't know as much as I thought that I did. We learned that the terrorist organization Hamas controls Gaza and uses its location there to regularly launch rockets into Israel. Since 2018, the group has held riots alongside the border, intermingling armed terrorists with civilians in the hopes of drawing public condemnation against Israel for those caught in the crossfire. Israel unilaterally disengaged from Gaza in 2005 in what some referred to as a test case for peace. The hope and prayer were that by leaving the Palestinians to control the coastal enclave and leaving behind an economic infrastructure for the population to utilize, a new path forward could be forged. Unfortunately, Palestinians in Gaza destroyed the economic infrastructure. The Gaza Strip was turned into a base of operations from which to terrorize Israelis. A whole generation of Israelis have grown up under this constant threat, taking refuge in bomb shelters with only seconds to reach one. The situation is so grave that 63% of Israeli children live with PTSD. After learning more about the Gaza border, we headed to Tel Aviv for our very last night in Israel. As you can see, Tel Aviv really looks like coastal California. There was surfing, volleyball, restaurants on the beach. It was absolutely beautiful. At night, Tel Aviv feels like New York City, but acts like Silicon Valley. Israel is often referred to as the startup nation, but this shouldn't come as a surprise. Israel is commanded by God to be a light unto the nations, and in today's modern age, that light shines brightly.
Is our last night. How are you feeling?
I have yet to be able to take it all in. It's been a lot to process. We haven't had a ton of downtime. And so it's just like great experience on top of an emotional experience, on top of a spiritual experience, on top of a physical experience. And so it's just like a sensory overload. I look forward to being able to take a deep breath and just kind of process all of the things that we saw. It'll be cool to put the vlog together because I'll get to rewatch some of those experiences. It was a must to record it, so. We spent our last morning in Tel Aviv having breakfast overlooking the Mediterranean. A flood and wave of emotion overcame us, and I wanted to share with you some final thoughts from some of my new family and friends that I made on this trip.
All right, Isaac, if you could describe this in one word, what would you say?
Overwhelming. But overwhelming in a good way. Overwhelming to where you just sense the Holy Spirit the entire time, everywhere we walked, everywhere we went. And that's going to stay with me for the rest of my life.
Ruslan, you got anything?
Exceptional.
Exceptional. I love that.
Life-changing.
Life-changing. We can count that as one word.
I got it. Contemplative.
Contemplative. Oh, you guys are deep.
This trip, one word, encounter.
Encounter.
Sacred.
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 Sacred. One word, sacred. Describe this trip in one word.
Transformed.
Transformed.
Revelatory.
Revelatory. You guys brought out the thesaurus. I love it. Like, these are some big words. If you guys could describe this trip in one word, what would it be?
Shalom.
Shalom. In the home.
Let's say impactful.
Impactful. Stephanie.
Did anyone say stupendous yet?
Stupendous was not said.
Wow.
But it was stupendous.
It was stupendous.
Carlos. You could describe this trip in one word. What would you describe this trip as? One word.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
I feel like evident is a word.
Evidence.
I like evidence. Evident, like obvious. Like he was just so evident.
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 Yes.
Evident.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I love that.
That was solid. All right, Brother Bo. Pastor B. If you could describe this trip in one word, what would it be?
Eye-opening? Can I make that?
If you use a dash, we'll count
we'll
that.
count- all right.
Somebody else used a dash, so
That's
we're
right.
good.
We'll do
We
it.
love
We'll
it,
do
bro.
it.
Transformative.
Transformative.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. We say that?
Superb.
Superb.
Life-changing.
Life-changing. I've had quite a few dashes so far. So if you could describe this trip in one word, what would you say it was?
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. That's two words, but we're dashing it, right?
Dash.
You guys, a lot of dashes have been used today. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you can see, we were tired. It had been a long trip. Putting Israel into one word doesn't do it justice. But if I could give it one word, I would say that I left Israel full.